Welcome to day 4. We are going to start again down on the mat. So come down into seated and we'll get you started. So yesterday in day 3, we practiced a little bit of rolling back. We used the dressing gown called a skipping rope to give us a little bit of support. Today we're going to progress this on a little bit. Now if you wish to still use that support, you can do, but it's just going to mean that you're a bit limited in how far you can roll back. So the other suggestion, if you need more support with rolling back, is to hold onto the backs of the thighs. Now this is also going to help us sit tall from the beginning. So to create that tall posture, we're going to sit nice and tall. Now again, if you feel really tight here in the hips, have the knees open. So as you sit nice and tall here, you can pull the shoulder blades down and find that long line along the spine. So we're going to take a breath in here. And as we breathe out, we're going to bring those feet back, knees up, and we're going to roll through the pelvis. And we're just going to go back enough where we can feel the core starting to work. We're going to roll all the way back up into seated. Take a breath in at the top, shoulders back and down. And again, we're going to breathe out as we roll back. And again, as we breathe in, we come all the way up. We sit nice and tall. And again, we breathe out to roll back. So just warming up a little bit the core here. So don't be too ambitious with how far you roll back, just enough so that you can feel those core muscles starting to work. So we're going to take another 2 more, and then we're going to move on to our first exercise. Now, our first exercise is called bow and arrow. And this exercise works a little bit more the obliques, so the muscles that run alongside the waist. So again, we're going to sit here with the legs flat to the floor. Now, if it takes a bit of pressure off, you can roll back a little bit here, so you're already slightly rolled back. And then again, we can keep the hands on the backs of the thighs. So for example, we take a breath in, we take the right arm forwards, and as we breathe out, we hold on to the back of the thigh with the left hand as we draw the right elbow back. We come up, we switch, and again, we do the same to the other side. Now, again, if this feels all a little bit too much, you can keep the hands to the backs of the thighs. But we do want to try and work one side and then the other if we can. Now, if you're happy to do so, you can start to take the hands away. So this would be kind of your next level up. And again, we're rolling back, pulling those elbows back, sitting up nice and tall in between each one. Good, well done. Now for a bit more challenge here, quite a lot more challenge. As you come back with the elbow, you're going to try and tap it to the floor. So we come back, tap, and we lift. We come back, tap. So this is just going to force you to roll back a little more. Good, well done. We're going to take one more, and then we'll have a little bit of a stretch. So you're going to come up here, take holds of the backs of the legs here, and just have a stretch. Now you can lengthen here, or again, if it feels more comfortable, come up into this seated position and sit nice and tall. Good, well done. Now we're going to move on and we're going to come down onto our back. The next exercise is called Pilates 100. This is a classic Pilates exercise. Now we can do this in many different ways. We can start at really low level and we can progress it in several different ways. So we're going to start with the feet flat to the floor and the hands down by the side. Now the movement through the upper body comes from the shoulders, and it's a strong beat of the arms. So you want to avoid flapping at the wrists and letting the arms be really weak. Imagine that you're trying to kind of pump something with each hand, yep? So it's not a pat of a dog, it's more of a bop on the head, a little bit more sort of power through the shoulders. Now, again, we're going to squeeze the ribs to pelvis here. So again, lower back comes down. We start moving from the arms, from the shoulders. Now, this is the Pilates 100, the 100 standing for 100 reps. But obviously my 100 reps might be at a different pace to yours. So we're not going to do the 100 for the video unless you want to pause it and go for that. We're just going to go for however long I think is probably appropriate for this exercise. So here, pumping the arms from the shoulders, keeping the ribs to pelvis. This is kind of your level 1. Now we can make it a little bit harder in a couple of ways. We can lift the head and shoulders. Now, if you're lifting the head and shoulders here, you're going to keep a gap between the chin and the chest. Your eyes are going to look up towards the ceiling. So you're squeezing the ribs down towards the pelvis. And you're holding this head and shoulders off. Now again, if this is a bit too much to hold for the whole time, you could beat the arms for 5 with the head and shoulders lifted, and then you can lower for another 5. And again, you can lift for 5 and you can lower, or however many you want to. So we're going to keep it going here just for a little bit longer. Good, let's take 2 more rounds. So 2 more rounds of beating the arms from the shoulders, lifting the head and shoulders off. Good, well done, and relax it down. Now there are other ways to progress that exercise, and I will cover that off in subsequent sessions, but that should give you a good start. Lifting the head and shoulders certainly adds a little bit of intensity to the exercise. So we're going to move in now to our final exercise, which is called the double leg stretch. Now we did the single leg stretch earlier on in the week. Here we're going to bring the legs up into tabletop with the shins parallel to the ceiling, and you're going to bring one hand on each of the knees. Now we're going to take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we're going to send the legs up towards the ceiling, the arms overhead. As we breathe in, we're going to sweep the arms down. We're going to bring the hands back to the knees, and again we're going to breathe out. Now, to make this a little bit more challenging, as we extend the legs, we can start to extend them a little bit lower towards the floor. We only have to go a little bit lower to really feel the difference that this makes for the core. So as you extend those legs, arms come overhead, we create that extra resistance. Now again, here we can also lift the head and shoulders. So as we breathe out, and then as we breathe in, lower back down. Now there are slightly different ways that we can do this. We can also keep the head and the shoulders up. And again, down. Let's take 4 more. Good. And 3. Good. And 2. Well done. Last one. Good. And take a hug of the knees into the chest. Good. Well done. Just bring the feet back down onto the mat. Take the arms nice and wide. And again, I always like to have a little rock of the knees here. So sending the knees over to one side, all the way back over to the other, just to give that back a little bit of a stretch. Always feels good after we've done any core work. Bearing in mind, when we're working the core, we're working the whole of the trunk of the body. Good, well done. So that is your day 4. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it challenging. We come back tomorrow for a final day of the program, day 5. I look forward to seeing you.